Hey guys, welcome back. All right, so I could not wait another day to do a reaction video to this interview I saw. Oh my goodness. The Axios interview of Donald Trump by Jonathan Swan blew my mind. It was really good. My silence about this, and please remember, I'm an American citizen. Hi guys, more news from South Korea. But I also want to point out a problem in this statement. It's called a straw man fallacy. I was like, when I saw this tweet, a lot of you are probably not gonna like what I have to say, right? But it ain't gonna stop me. I really enjoyed Jonathan Swan, so before we dive in and do my top 10 favorite moments, I wanted to talk a little bit about Jonathan and also Axios, because are they like a left-leaning HBO platform, or are they right-leaning? Let's see. So Jonathan Swan was born in Australia, was raised there. He is son of a broadcaster, Norman Swan, grew up with journalists and broadcasters all around him, and in 2013, he came to the United States for an academic fellowship because of congressional aid. He is one of the handful of reporters that Donald Trump gives info to. So they have like a good relationship, and in the interview, he even says like, oh my God, 5 years ago, this. So they've known each other. Saw that he also wrote some positive pieces about Donald Trump. And it's not like positive in the way that it's like, oh, propaganda. He's not about political leaning, and I really appreciate that in a journalist. If I'm wrong, let me know. Axios, they are known to be very center, like extremely center. Out of 4,229 ratings, it was just like smack dab middle, which is cool. I have to look at them more. I have to check that out. It is the brainchild of Politico founders, and they are very proud to be nonpartisan. Politico, however, I do remember reading articles from Politico. They are accused, I don't know why the source said accused, but they are known to have a little bit of Republican tilt. In 2012, 29% of the readers were Democrats. So yeah, that's what the source is. We're not watching a CNN interview. We're not watching some reporter trying to bash Trump. Let's get into it. I'm gonna start off by doing some, I don't want you guys to think I'm anti anything. I'm ready to have my mind changed if needs be. So I'm gonna do my first clip of something that Donald Trump said that I actually was like, oh. He says a lot of things during this whole thing. It's entertaining, to say the least. Let's do my first clip. Throwing it up there, let's go.
Never been in the Middle East. The decision to go to the Middle East and get into the Middle East was the single biggest mistake made in the history of our country. That's my opinion.
And you know what? I agree that us going into the Middle East was super selfish. It was just classic America being America. On that one, Donald, I agree with you. Officially, number one.
You know, there are those that say, you can test too much. You do know that.
Who says that?
Oh, just read the manuals, read the books.
Manuals?
Read the
What
books.
manuals?
Read the books.
What books? What books?
What test thing does?
No, sorry.
Wait a minute,
Who
John.
said-
Let me explain. Right here,
And then
the
the graphs
United
come
States
out.
is lowest in numerous categories. We're lower than the world.
Lower than the world?
I love Jonathan Swan. He's just like,
What are you talking about?
he's like, who said that? What? What books? Why can't Donald Trump just tell us? Who? What books? What manuals?
I read a lot.
two.
You know, I read a lot. They like to say I don't read. I read a lot.
He reads a lot.
Your
I
daily intelligence
comprehend
brief?
extraordinarily well, probably better than anybody that you've interviewed in a long time. I read a lot. I spend a lot of time with at meetings. Usually it's once a day or at least 2 or 3 times a week intelligence.
'Cause this was apparently
talking
in your
about India,
right.
talking about
Right.
with the problems.
Classic Trump. That's all I can say. Classic Trump. It's like he's so old. Like he's seriously like the grandpa at dinner, and you respect him, but like you've just been through so much. Your brain is so old.
But you have to look at this. This is the number of tests compared
I
to the
don't
rest
deny
of
your
the world.
figures. You've done more tests by far than the rest of
Right.
them. I don't
And
deny
because
that.
we've done more tests, we have more cases.
You have
can take
more
that back. Check
advantages.
that.
Look at his face.
Oh, you're doing death as a proportion of cases. I'm talking about death as a proportion of population. That's where the US is really bad.
Well,
Much worse than South Korea, Germany,
Don't
etc.
you can't do that. You have
Why
to
can't I
go.
do that?
You have to go by.
Why can't I do that?
Go by. They are dying. That's true, and it is what it is. But that
Do you read your written brief?
I do.
They're dying. It's true. It is what it is. It is what it is. Oh, I stepped on your dog and died. It is what it is. I mean, he's not wrong. It is what it is. It's not. It is what it's not. So in that way, he's kind of right. But
With China, when I took over, we didn't even have a test. Now, in all fairness,
why would you have a
there was
test?
no
The
test
virus
for
didn't
this.
exist.
Now,
did you hear that? So he's like, we didn't have a test, and the dude's like, but the coronavirus never existed. How could we have had a test? The logic just isn't there. Like, how could we have had a coronavirus test before the coronavirus was detected, found anywhere? Next one.
My question to
We'll be
you,
at 4,000. I'll give
When?
you the exact, very soon.
Oh,
Very soon.
this is in response to talking about how many troops are in the Middle East. And Donald is saying, you know, he's taken them out. And the guy's like, okay, so how many have you taken out? And Donald Trump's like, I'm taking them out. They're not out yet. I'm taking them out. Jonathan Swan is trying to ask Donald Trump, when will you take them out? And when will the numbers go down to 4,000? And this is Donald.
Very soon.
what will be the number? Very soon? 4,000?
Very soon, yeah.
Like how
Very
soon?
I don't want to tell you that.
On election day, how many American troops will be in Afghanistan?
Probably anywhere from 4,000 to 5,000.
Did you see what he did there? Basically, Donald Trump was like, oh, I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you. And I know Jonathan Swan wasn't trying to be sneaky, but he was like, oh, by election day, November, what are the numbers? And Donald Trump just said 4,000 to 5,000. He answered the question in the end.
Mr. President, Ghislaine Maxwell has been arrested on allegations of child sex trafficking.
Ghislaine Maxwell, if you don't know, Jeffrey Epstein's girlfriend.
Child sex trafficking. Why would you wish such a
Well, first
person
of all,
well?
I don't know that, but I do know that
She has. She's been arrested for that. You know
her
that.
friend or boyfriend
Epstein.
was either killed or committed suicide in jail. But all it is her boyfriend died. He died in jail. Was he killed? Was it suicide? I do. I wish her well.
Donald Trump won't say the word Epstein. They've been buddies for a while. And not just Donald Trump, a lot of people, including Bill Clinton. You know, these guys, they are politicians, but they're human. They've done creepy stuff. I don't know why you can't just say Epstein's name. We all know you know him. We all know. I don't want to go into it, but yeah.
The unmarked vans where they're rounding people up.
Do you know why they're unmarked? These people that are anarchists and agitators, when they see the name on a uniform of a person, a policeman or law enforcement person, they find out where that person lives. And then they go and they scare the hell out of the person's family. I think it's a very good reason not to have your name. Why should you have identification? My name is Bill Smith and here's where I live.
Would you?
So basically, Donald Trump, this is some weird totalitarian, authoritarian thing. This reminds me of like the beginning of like the Nazi uprising. Why can't we do this to protesters? Don't we have to read them their rights? It's just awful to me. And also Donald Trump is talking about what's called doxing. And I've had friends that are Democrats, liberals who've been doxxed by Republicans and cops are being doxxed by Black Lives Matter people. But doxing is all around. It's not just these
anarchists.
It's everyone. We have the internet now. That's what people do. This is pretty much what I consider boomer talk.
Would you meet with a Black Lives Matter activist?
I would, but I think right now when they paint,
Why haven't you?
When they paint the sign, nobody's asked for a meeting, right? Nobody's ever asked me for a meeting.
Do you believe
I put that clip up there because he says no one's asked him for a meeting. So why doesn't someone ask him for a meeting? Ask him for a meeting. Ask him for a meeting.
Do you believe, though, Mr. President, that many police treat black people differently from white people?
Well, I hope not. Does anybody really answer that question accurately?
But what
Does
about not
anybody really
hope?
know?
What about analysis? What's your cold-hearted
I have
view of it?
seen where there is a difference, and I don't want there to be a difference.
But why do you think black men are 2.5 times more likely to be killed by police than white men?
That I don't know.
It's
Police have
systemic.
killed many white people also.
But proportionally, what does it speak to?
It speaks to something, if that's the number, you're telling
is the
me a
number.
number. Okay, if that's the number, it speaks to something that to me is unacceptable.
And what do you do about it then?
Well, I think we've already done a lot of
But you
things.
haven't. It still
Let me
exists.
just tell you.
No. I understand your achievements. I know what you're going to say. I'm not suggesting you haven't done a lot.
I did more.
I love how Jonathan Swan is courteous and nice. What Donald Trump is refusing to say is systemic racism and also racism in general. He just needs to say it. There is a huge problem in the United States, and he's saying, oh, we've done enough. The fact that there are still protesters, it means the American people are unhappy. So we have to do something about it. That would have been such a better answer if he was like, we're working on it. We want to do more. And I understand what he's saying. He's helped the black community with like economy, jobs, all that. Right now we're just talking about human rights in general. And for the president to say there is a problem with police brutality and we need to look at the police, we need to change it up. He doesn't need to say defund the police, which is what a lot of people are saying. The Blue Lives Matter people have twisted it to sound like it's abolish the police. No, we're saying defund so that you can refund it. And he just needs to admit it. He's obviously looking for the All Lives Matter people vote. That's not me. I get my privilege. I'm not white, but I get it. I can wear a hoodie and walk down the street in any neighborhood. I have no fear of being killed by the police.
I did more for the black community than anybody with the possible exception of Abraham Lincoln, whether you like it or not. People say, oh, that's interesting.
You believe you did more than Lyndon Johnson, who passed the Civil
I
Rights
think I
Act?
did, yeah.
Why does Donald Trump have to keep patting himself on the back? Why can't he just, why did he say that?
John Lewis is lying in state in the US Capitol. How do you think history will remember John Lewis?
I don't know. I really don't know. He didn't come to my inauguration. He didn't come to my State of the Union speeches. And that's okay. That's his right.
Do you find his story impressive, what he's done for this country?
He was a person that devoted a lot of energy and a lot of heart to civil rights, but there were many others also.
I don't know why you can't just admit that somebody else did something good for society. That would have just been so, he should be remembered. Those are my highlights, and I don't think my reactions were that extreme. Doesn't matter if you're Democrat or Republican, you can see Donald Trump sort of answer the questions in his own world. He didn't really directly answer many questions, and he started going on tangents. I honestly think it's because he's old. Because I talk to my grandparents sometimes, and you talk to them, but then they start talking about something else. I really think we need younger leaders. Even Biden is really old. I'm not gonna sugarcoat things, but we have to vote blue this time so that this man doesn't do this more. I can see him really trying and having good intentions, but he just lives in another universe. I don't think he's ever struggled the way a lot of us have. He's always just worked things out, or things have always just worked out for him. He's kind of invincible, guys, and I think a lot of people worship that. He has selective hearing and also has a defensive mentality that is just so hot-tempered and so embarrassing. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Bye!